Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are trying to get the air conditioning working because ever since I bought this car it's never worked, and we have had some hot weather. Even though it's not hot today, we have had some hot weather recently, and I wouldn't mind trying to get this thing working. Now, a few weeks ago, I took my car to a garage not far away from me and I got the aircon system pressure tested. It came back that it had a leak in the air condenser. I don't know if you guys remember when I changed the intercooler for the S3 intercooler, and I stripped all the front end of the car. Well, I didn't fancy doing that again because it was a long process. So I asked the garage where the car was at if they could do it, and they said yes. So they did it, they tested it again, and it was holding pressure, but the AC still didn't work. So I got the car home, did a diagnostic, and it came back that there was no communication between the climate control and the car. Now, I don't know if you remember, I did a Mk5 climate control upgrade, and when I did that upgrade, the AC button never lit up, but when you press it on the stereo it did say AC on. Lucky thing, I still had my old climate control, so I changed it back, then did a diagnostic again, and it came back that there is communication between the climate control and the car. And what we established is that maybe the Mk5 climate control I had was too new for the ECU in this car. So the diagnostic is now saying that the fault is pointing towards the AC pump or the AC compressor, whichever one you want to call it. I've been looking at videos, and some people replace a solenoid on the front of the pump. That only costs £25 and a little bit of my time replacing it, and we'll see if we can get it working rather than spending £200 upwards for a new pump. I will show you the solenoid. I actually bought this from Auto Dock, so it did take a week to come, but that is all it is. Right, the car is jacked up, the under tray is off. I will show you the part that I actually need to get to on the AC pump. This is the AC pump, and that is the solenoid. So we need to try and get that out. We are a little bit stuck, and it's going to be a change of plan. I'll show you the reason why. Right, so here we are, and if you remember, there was the solenoid connector on top there. Well, that is now in my hand, and the solenoid is stuck inside the compressor. We are now going to take the pump off the car, which I think will be a little bit easier. So we've got one top there, and then we have another one down there. Just not sure if you can quite see that. There may be a couple of bolts. There might be a bolt there. That might be one, it might not be, but I think it is. And then there's another bolt underneath. I went ahead and disconnected one of the AC lines and then loosened the 313mm bolts which hold the compressor to the car. One above the compressor and two below, but leave them all in the compressor because they are very difficult to remove at this point. So we are making progress. It's very slow, but we are making progress. If you can see there, we have got one of the AC lines off the compressor. If I come underneath the car, let me just get some light. You will also see that the compressor is loose. So the best option for us to do is try and drop the compressor this way down. When we loosen the radiator pipe off of there, we can move this pipe then out of the way, and then hopefully drop the compressor through this gap here. I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is the pump or the compressor is out. The bad news is it's broken. It's not repairable. And this is it. Big hole in there. And when we was taking the compressor out, this fell from underneath the car, but we didn't actually know where it came from. And that bit fits in there. Now clearly there's another bit missing. We don't know where that is. I'm assuming it's inside there somewhere. There's pros and cons to this, because if I had changed the solenoid, it would have all been for nothing. Now I have to contemplate whether I'm going to get a brand new pump or get a second-hand pump. I'll have a think about what I'm going to do. Right, so it is a few days after I contemplated what to do about this aircon pump, and I have decided to go for a new one. We're going for I'm not even sure how you pronounce that. Mk5 I think it's called. And obviously this is the old broken thing here. And we've gone for a brand new one rather than a second-hand one. You guys know me by now. I don't really do a lot of second-hand things. They are pretty much brand new. If I could get main dealer products, I will get that, but if not, this is going to be the next best thing. And here we have it. Now, while I was getting this sorted out, I came across something else on the car, and you might be surprised to see that I've had to do this. This is going to help me get the pump back on the car a lot easier, but the pump is not the reason why I've taken it apart like this. And the reason why I've taken it apart is basically because of shoddy workmanship from a garage. So a few weeks back, I took my car to be pressure tested for the air con, and they said I had a leak in the condenser. But after I got my car back from the garage after having the condenser fitted, every time I went over a bump, I kept thinking, why am I getting this rattle on the front of the car? Now let me show you the reason why I was getting the rattle. So the radiator for the car screws into the intercooler, and what they've done is they've broken screws. They've broken the screws off the radiator. I've kind of bodged it. This is why I had to take it off, because I was trying to do something to get the screw out of the hole while it was on the car, but I couldn't do it, so I thought I'll strip it down. So that is what they've done. They've snapped screws in there, and instead of trying to get them out, they tied it up with cable ties, which was fine to a point, but the cable ties snapped. And when they snapped, that's when I was getting a rattle on the front of the car. I don't like to give myself extra work if I don't have to, but it looks like I've had to give myself extra work because of them. And it just goes to show what people will do if they can get away with it. But yeah, that's the reason why I've had to do all of this. But it will give me better access to putting the pump back on the car. The hardest thing is going to be getting the getting these screws out of here. After battling so long with this thing, I've got a few of the screws out, so that one's out, and I've got that one out. That one I could not get out, so 3 is not bad. And then that one's a bit broken, but we're going to try and still get a little bit of thread on there, and that one we managed to get out. So we've got 4 on this side and 3 on the other side. That is what we're going to work with. But first we need to install the AC compressor by screwing in the 3 13mm bolts which will hold the compressor to the car. Next we fit brand new seals to both of the AC connectors. It is a good idea to lubricate both of these seals so they don't get damaged when you push them back into the compressor. Right, and the whole reason why we started doing this in the first place was to get this aircon pump back on, and as you can see now, the lines are both connected, and it's connected. Inside there is a solenoid, so it's connected there, so everything's put back together. Right, I have got good news and I have got bad news. The good news is the AC is now working on this car. I've got cold air coming through the vents. It's not turned on right now, but I promise you it does work, and it does feel good. Just know that something else is fixed on this car. Now, I have a theory why the aircon pump had that hole, and I think it's to do with this button right here. So from what I've gathered, the cars that have Econ works in this way. So at the moment that light is on, but normally when a light is on something, it represents the actual system is on, or whatever it is you're turning on is on. But no, not on this. The aircon on this car at the moment is off. The button is on, which makes you think the aircon is on, but it's actually off. And if I do that, the aircon is now on. I think the pump has overheated and basically cracked or exploded, and I think the gas probably keeps it cool and lubricated. Yeah, so that's what I think has happened to the pump, which is probably a very common thing, because I would have assumed that when the button is on, the aircon is on, not off. I am now on the hunt for a climate control, but one that worked with this car, maybe an early Mark 6, because I think mine might have come out of a Passat, and I think Passats run to a maybe 2016 even, that use the same climate control. So I think it is just too new and not compatible with this car. I did say there was bad news. The bad news is I probably won't get to use this AC because we're now at the back end of the summer. But I'm just so happy, I'm buzzing that it actually does work. So yeah, that is the end of the video, guys. If you like this kind of content, give me a like, a subscribe, a share and a comment, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.